Ready?
Yep, so Neptuneo versus Kiwi on 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go. All the sun shaders
So
moving.
between these two players, like Killerkiwi, very, very strong all-round player. You know, does everything well, doesn't really have any weaknesses that I know of. Neptuneo, also extremely strong, obviously part of Planetary Annihilation Gods. Possible only downside is that he does have a tendency to do a lot of trash talking.
Uh-oh.
I would say that perhaps his ego is as great as
Holy crap, who's like breaking glass in the background?
That's
probably Violet.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Alright, so right off the bat, we've got dishes being thrown everywhere. Master, I'm expecting... So then, should we start just kind of internally rooting for Kiwi? Because if he can survive both the BM and Master's skills, then it will just be even more of a sweet victory?
Yeah, I mean, you know, since we're casting, I feel like I have to commit one way or the other, because if I'm wrong, then everyone can laugh, and if I'm right, then everyone's like, wow, that guy's good.
Whoa, you're so good. Well, I'm going to believe in Killerkiwi because...
probably going to take it.
Sorry?
I think that Neptuneo's probably going to take this game.
I want to believe in Kiwi, though, because if he... Well,
I want to believe in Kiwi.
See, I wish we could see the chat, though, because if there really was BM, then I would be like, alright, you know, I want Kiwi to win, but, you know, if there is no BM and it's just like a fair match, then I really do want to see the, then, you know, I obviously don't want to be like, oh, well, Kiwi's going to win, or, you know, Master's going to win just because no BMs. I always root for the guy that doesn't BM.
I don't think Neptuneo actually really BMs, because I played a few games with him and he's really nice. Like, super nice.
He doesn't particularly... No, he doesn't BM during a game, but like Neptuneo, it's like I say, you know, his ego is possibly his biggest weakness in the entire thing. Like, if you begin to beat him, he becomes very, very rattled.
Oh, okay, so it's once he starts BMing once he starts to lose, or he thinks he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Okay. That could actually be a really big weakness if you think about it, because if say Kiwi gets a quick snipe on something that, you know, maybe Master thought was, you know, easily defendable, and he just kind of kicks himself for it. I mean, that could easily be a mind game trick that he just loses by himself.
Yeah, well, you know, that's where I'm coming from. But at the same time, like Zankar actually said, he is basically shit hot. He's really good at the game. It's very difficult to put him in that position in the first place. So, weakness, yes, but not one that you're going to see exploited too often, because the prerequisite for doing it is to actually be better than him, in which case it doesn't matter.
Of course.
So, there you go. Still, though, the one thing that I would say is a bit strange is that Kiwi has actually went for tree economy, and yet he landed his commander quite far back on the island, so he blew up a lot of his own trees when he spawned.
Trees. No.
Trees are so important.
My goodness, yes, their economy level is just incredible. Master, though, surplusing there for a little bit. Maybe that wasn't what he was planning to do. Kiwi doing the same thing, though. I saw some piranhas flying, you know, kind of scuttering around for Kiwi, but it looks like he might actually be able to get this. Nope. Master immediately sees that there is a Faber or a piranha on its way, and he's going to pull this back, let the Barracudas, though, just take care of this quickly. No, this is interesting.
I've actually played against Master before using pretty much an identical strategy to the one he seems to be using now with his building placement and everything, and I'd expect that we're going to see a tier 2 immediately after this third naval factory.
So was this the one that you used on me, where you just kind of build it up, you kind of play a little passive, and then you just rush the tier 2?
Something similar. It's more like a derivative, but definitely the first player that I ever saw use it was Neptuneo. So I would expect him to do pretty much the same thing again.
Okay.
Although he might have refined it by now.
Oh, well, I mean, how old was this? It was only like 2 or 3 days old.
6 days.
6 days? So it's only roughly a week old.
For that game with him.
I mean, that's still pretty fresh strats. I mean, the PT has been, or most likely will be released eventually, so it could change eventually, but it's definitely not going to change in the next 3 to 4 days. So you've got 3 or 4 days where you've got a professional, a good player releasing a really good strat. So of course, guys, get out your pens and paper, write everything you see down, even though I have absolutely no idea about what's going on. But of course, we do have...
Well, at the minute,
Red.
we're seeing sort of like, you know, we're seeing Neptuneo actually advancing, taking these strong central positions with the Faber, defending it with the Barracudas, which it is vulnerable to air, but at the same time, Kiwi isn't really building any bombers. He's just using his air to defend and to try and ferry over his fabricators to the island to get like a cheap Faber over there rather than air Faber. Actually, neither player at the minute really taking any shots at each other. They're both just building up their position.
So this has been a very kind of slow opening for both players. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a crazy aggressive naval, but neither one really trying to kind of go after something that the other has. Now, there is a bit of an air skirmish-ish kind of thing, if you want to call that. There's some air units flying in from Master, and nope, got an anti-air fighter, so I mean, I guess it was worth his time. But he is going to fly over the commander. The commander's going to get some nice, sweet pot shots off. Only 2, I think it was either 2 or 3, that were lost by the bomber, or the commander, sorry. So, I don't know, man. This is just really slow.
Yeah, this just seems to be sort of a scouting mission from Neptuneo, again, solidifying his position, getting some intel, deciding what he wants to do, how he's going to go about accomplishing it. This is the thing with naval, is because of how slow the units actually are, how expensive they are, and the way the metal is clustered and everything, it does tend to be a very, very slow grind. The only thing you'll see a really fast aggressive game is when someone does something arguably cheesy, like, maybe an Inferno drop or something ridiculous,
SSX
like all the
snipes.
Grenadiers, Combat Feather, Teleporters, and yeah, SSX. Orbital is pretty big.
Interestingly enough, though, just looking at the metal control, Neptune's got a lot of this locked down. I mean, Kiwi does have this one island that, I mean, he definitely has quite a bit on, but in just terms of metal control, I mean, Neptune's just everywhere. I mean, I don't think there's really one spot besides that one island that he's on that, I could honestly safely say it's being contested, but everywhere else, it's just there's Neptune somewhere on this map.
Yeah, although one thing that is pretty interesting is Kiwi setting up this mine defense on the island. You see that on his main base island?
Yeah.
This is really, really popular at the minute. Yeah, you mentioned it before that it does actually from this angle. You mentioned it before that you've never really seen mines sort of like destroying units, but on naval where docks can come from the coast, it is quite popular to put some mines in the spots that they come from. Most typically.
Some docks, though, getting onto Neptune's little island. He needs the... Oh, okay, never mind. I was going to say, he needs to move these docks to avoid that Uber shot, but of course, as I say it, the Uber shot does come out. He does get 2 energy factories for his time, and maybe even a metal extractor, which would obviously be fantastic. But, this is where I'm going to ask you, Red, is it worth? Because, I mean, yeah, he did get a little bit, but, I mean, does it really hinder this, I mean, just giga economy that he's got?
No, this hasn't affected Neptuneo at all.
Naval docks, the landmines, boom! That was beautiful.
And there it is.
And there it is.
It really, really is. But Neptuneo is in such a strong position. He has the economy. Kiwi is actually tanking his own economy, which is pretty bad. I say his own economy. I mean, Neptuneo is obviously responsible for it, but same difference. At the end of the day, though, Neptuneo has surprised me by not going for tier 2. And actually, neither has Kiwi both elected for just the tier 1 spam.
I think the reason for Kiwi, at least, is that, it's just that economy. I mean, he's basically just trying to get a foothold. I mean, it looks like he's almost just kind of starting to slip a little bit here. The metal extractors that Neptune's kind of taken already at the time we have, he's just already taken, and he's almost over. I guess he is over at Kiwi's metal. So I think Kiwi's just trying to get something out there right now and get it out quickly. But like you said, if the tier 2 comes out, which luckily for him it hasn't come out yet, he's going to be okay. But I am kind of surprised. Neptune should be going tier 2 at this point. I mean, he's ahead. Might as well just guarantee that he will be ahead, future on in the game, instead of, say, slipping up and having this giant army of naval kind of fly through his economy and then possibly break down a lot of it.
Yeah, he's actually using this commander now to go over to Kiwi's island to take out all of these mechs, which is definitely a very, very interesting choice. I think it's very, very good as well, because
it's very
commander
manly.
You have to pay nothing for. Yeah, it's manly as hell.
It's very manly. I mean, just
over here.
Oh my goodness, if there was just like, I mean, this is of course going through the gold and silver league mindset, but I mean, usually players have like bombers and a bunch of just unnecessary units, and if I saw that, I'd be like, oh look, a free commander. Well, let's go take care of that.
How long?
Sorry?
Given how long the games went on, Neptuneo is well aware of the fact that Kiwi hasn't really built any bombers during the entire game. He's just building air control so that he can have...
Bit of a little skirmish here, though, in the middle of the map. These Barracudas, though, doing some damage, but the Orcas don't have missiles or torpedoes anymore, so these guys are going to actually chase this away.
Yep.
Narwhals, though, do have torpedoes, and it's a 3 versus 4, or 1 versus 4, and that, I mean, obviously, that's a quick little trade. But these orcas got to get away because they don't got missiles, they don't got torpedoes, and when you got scuba divers underneath you, you're in trouble.
Damn right. Besides barracudas as well. I mean, narwhals. Barracudas do actually have the big advantage over narwhals, unless the narwhals are excellently microed and you have enough of them. Which, in this case, Kiwi can't really get enough narwhals over there. He's only sending 2 to back the orcas to try and sort of fend off Neptuneo's big push here, but it's not really going to be enough. I think this is going to be maybe a decisive blow.
Uh-oh. Come on, Kiwi, don't let the BM work. Well, see, I want to think that this could get cleaned up because there is this very large Kiwi naval that is kind of slowly working its way over to this very heavy Barracuda army, or scuba army, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He might clean this up, but then what? Because there's going to be more units that Neptune has, but he also has the economy to back this. He also has, the energy to back this. He even has his commander aggressively killing Kiwi's his factories, or his metal extractors on the island. And I almost want to think that what Kiwi should do is maybe just man up mode, walk over to Neptune's commander, and then just surround him with a bajillion docks, and maybe just try and get some cheeky snipe out. And, that's the only way I can really see him coming out of this, at least somewhat intact.
This actually seems to be the strategy that he's going for, just without the commander push. He's sent the orcas over there to sort of chase the commander back, put it under threat, which is fantastic. Like you say, if he also had have sent his own commander over there to sort of like duke it out with Neptuno's, scouted the area, seen what he had, and then just went for a big sort of like final combox.
These mines, though, they're just fantastic to see. I'm sorry. I just saw like 5 or 6 docks just blow up and go straight into the metal, the great heavens above, and it was just, so nice to see him doing
do you think
things.
You're going to be using these mines more often?
Sorry?
In your own games?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'll probably be using them a whole of a lot more. I know at least in Forge where I could really do it to get super cheeky is when I'm going with my mass tanks, because, obviously I'm a gold casual and it's mass tanks all day, every day. Get some combat fabricators, and then just build them throughout my my metal. I mean, they're, what, like 20 metal a pop? And
yeah, actually, with the just back to the game quickly, with the positioning that's sort of forming up at the minute, it seems as if Kiwi might actually surprise us and take this game, because although Neptuneo is well ahead, Kiwi does have these 2 narwhals and a barracuda, and his commander generally in the area of Neptuneo's.
Yeah, he is.
But he hasn't noticed.
I was going to say, yeah, he just hasn't noticed. And while that's going on, though, if we look at the main metal spot, I wish I could ping it, but there's, it's a lot of barracudas versus a lot of orcas. And, Kiwi just has to acknowledge, he's got a lot of orcas, yes, but where's the counter? Where's the air units to this? He's got almost no air to his name right now.
What he really needs to do is get up some, in my opinion at least, is to get up some torpedo launchers to sort of stall these barracudas, just fend them off, keep hold of his metal.
Definitely.
But even that isn't as essential as needing to just really challenge Neptuneo's commander and go for a big cheese. If you could actually catch Neptuneo's commander, you could probably win.
As I say, I feel like that could the commander's in the water. I was gonna say he could then just back all of his naval units that are currently getting shot to death by these barracudas, and just go straight over the commander. But of course, like you said, he just doesn't know he's that close to Neptune's commanders. Now, well, I don't know, because he did build this shipyard, and I want to think that he knew something was up over here, because why would you just build a random shipyard next to your commander and then suddenly there's barracudas right next to where you're building this? It's like, I want to think that he knows something's up over here, and he does see it with this range, so...
Well, yeah, it is actually, Neptuneo's concentration seems to have slipped, and he calls GG.
He calls it?
He actually calls it because Kiwi managed to gain central position, and he was pushing in on his main base. Neptuneo had spread himself a bit too thin. So, despite the fact he was in a stronger position, I think that the T2 really became critical. He elected to sort of push onto that island, build up a proxy, and then build up a naval proxy as well, whereas if he had maybe went for a Leviathan, or just a single T2 factory, he would have been in a much stronger position to just repel Kiwi's eventual push.
Definitely.
So really, really surprising game. Neither player went for T2, which is critical in naval.
I was going to say, on the naval map, Tier 2 is just, it's worth its weight in just tons of gold. And it's just, you need your tier 2, especially, I mean, as when we were playing 1v1 Red, I mean, you just got that at like 5 minutes or something crazy, and I mean, there was nothing I could do to stop it, just because the Leviathan's range literally shoots across the planet.
I think I was hitting Fabas in your base from practically like the middle of the map.
Yeah, you were, and it was ridiculous, because I was losing fabricators just by building things.
Either which way, though, this is definitely a surprising game. I mean, Kiwi here really demonstrates how strong a player he is. I think that I may have underestimated him massively because, you know, although I look at Neptuneo and I think, well, maybe he made some questionable decisions, Kiwi, you know, he played really well for the position he was in the entire time.
Definitely. He
Despite
did actually
what I
have
thought,
tier 2.
like,
Well, hang on. In his
He
base,
didn't
in
pull
yeah, he did have tier 2. He was actually working on it. If you look at his spawn base at about 13 minutes, he did have, he was starting the Leviathans, but like you said, I think it was just, well, applying to it, I guess, it was just too little too late.
Yeah, 15 minutes into the game. Sort of 14-23, that's pretty bad. I wonder why you waited so long, though. This is really strange from Neptuneo.
Maybe he was just thinking, you know, oh, I've got him in the bag, you know, I'll just clean him out. I mean, which definitely, I wouldn't say it goes on his ego like we were talking about earlier, but maybe it was just that mindset. He just got into that tunnel vision mindset of, oh, you know, I'm winning pretty well. I'll just make sure, and well, I guess he didn't really play too safe, obviously, with the commander walking so far away, but he definitely just kind of pressed the advantage, and when he got spread too thin, like you were saying, there was just nothing he could do.
Yeah, I think maybe that he's just decided to make a manly play, which was a good play, but Kiwi managed to sort of keep it together. Neptuneo went just a bit too far, and then Kiwi sort of struck him where he was weak, and once the line was broken, the whole thing just collapsed.
Definitely.